Hello all and welcome to another Judgement review. I love all things horror, but I have never played a Silent Hill game. I played the Resident Evil games not too long ago, and there are a few moments, particularly in the remake of the first one, that really freaked me out. But from what I've heard of the Silent Hill games, they make Resident Evil look like an episode of Scooby-Doo. So for today, we're going to have a look at the film that was based off of the Silent Hill franchise. Because I've not played any of the games, I will be looking at it purely as a film rather than as an adaptation. Although I did mention to a friend I was doing this, and he hasn't played the games either, but he said that the Silent Hill film is worse than the Mario Brothers film. Can it really be that bad? Let's have a look. That's Rose De Silva, and she's looking for... Sean? Aaron? Sharon.
Has anybody seen Johnny the tackling Alzheimer's patient?
Sharon is Rose's adopted daughter, and now that she's been found, what insights do we get as to why she was there?
We're going home. Silent Hill!
Rose!
Wake up!
Hey! It's okay, sweetie.
Okay.
Not a lot, but now we get introduced to Christopher, Rose's husband and Sharon's adopted father, played by the hugely underrated Sean Bean, who always has pivotal roles in the stuff that he's in, like... Okay, none are coming to mind, so maybe this film will be the exception that will really make him stand out as the great actor that he really is. So let's keep a track of all the important scenes that he's in. There's bound to be loads of them.
What are we gonna do?
We'll get there. We'll find a way through this. We'll find a way.
Okay, that was nothing special, but there's still plenty of time for him to get that Oscar-worthy scene. For now though, we move on to what I'm assuming is the following day.
Honey, sometimes when you go to sleep, you go on a little walk. And sometimes you talk about a place called Silent Hill.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's okay, sweetie. That's why we're gonna go there. So you can remember.
Nice and simple. She yells about a town called Silent Hill, so they go there to see if they can find out why.
Oh no, Rose. No.
Thanks to Sean Bean, we find out that Silent Hill used to be a small mining town until the coals beneath the town caught fire and killed most of the residents. The fires are still burning today, and the town is supposedly haunted. We then catch up with Rose and Sharon as they're on their way to Silent Hill. They stop at a petrol station when Rose discovers some pictures drawn by Sharon, but they're not like her usual pictures.
Why'd you change your pictures?
I didn't. Mommy?
You can't remember.
No. I don't like that, Mommy.
Baby, you can't remember doing
Who did
this.
that?
All that commotion draws the attention of the police officer, who tries to question Sharon but fails dismally. Sean Bean speaks to Rose to try and convince her not to take Sharon to Silent Hill, saying all she needs is a bit of medical attention, but of course she completely ignores him, making that scene completely and utterly pointless. They continue on the road to Silent Hill, but then... 10 pounds says that Sharon isn't in the car when Rose wakes up. Hey, what a surprise! Rose goes looking for Sharon and she arrives in Silent Hill. It's been established that it's not snow that's falling, it's ash from the coal fires, but Rose sees Sharon and chases her through the town and down into the darkness. It's amazing how much area a small lighter can light up, but what else does Rose find down there? There's only one of them, she'll easily get away. Okay, maybe she's in trouble. She fainted? What a wuss, they hardly did anything to her. Sure, they were a little bit creepy, but they weren't that bad. Well, she wakes up a little while later with that Ring of Fire song playing on the jukebox, which I suppose is kind of funny, but there's no sign of those, whatever they were, anywhere, and there's no sign of Sharon, so she decides to continue looking.
Only the Dark One opens and closes the door to Silent Hill.
Only the who does what?
Please. I don't know what's happening. Do you know what's going on here?
Not gonna ask what she meant or anything?
My daughter. I'm looking for my daughter. I'm afraid that she's been hurt.
We've all lost our children. Our light.
Your light? What does that mean?
They deceived me. They're evil. They're hate. They hurt my child.
Who's they? What did they do? Why did they do whatever it was they did?
This is my daughter, Sharon. She sleepwalks, so you have to be careful, but if you see her, please tell her to wait for me.
Yes. She's mine.
No,
It's mine.
It's mine.
It's mine.
Get,
It's mine!
get out!
Well, she runs off and we end up cutting to Sean Bean, so maybe this will be his Oscar-nominating performance.
Actually, she was heading for this place, Silent Hill. How do I get there?
You don't. Town's closed down because of the coal fire still burning underground. You know? Breathe enough of them fumes, oh, bound to kill you.
Is that it? We knew that already, plus that woman's been living in Silent Hill for God knows how many years, and the fumes haven't killed her, so really that scene was completely and utterly pointless. We'll be joined back up with Rose, who's gone back to the car where she finds a picture of the school. She leaves a message on Sean Bean's phone telling him what's happened when Police Lady turns up.
You all right to walk?
Sure.
Then it looks like we'll be hiking back to Bram's.
What?
You're going back to the station.
Oh good, back with Sean Bean. He receives a crackled message left by Rose, though we don't really need to see it. But as he approaches Silent Hill, he comes across a police barricade who may have some more information.
The faster we start looking, the faster we're gonna find her.
All right, hold your horses, Chris. I've also got a missing deputy. And knowing Officer Sybil Bennett the way I do, she's probably out there looking for your wife and your daughter. Bobby, make sure no one comes through that barricade. We're gonna get our asses up to Silent Hill and take a look around, all right? Yes, sir.
So what have we learnt from that scene? Absolutely nothing, making that scene completely and utterly pointless. We catch up with Rose and Officer What's-Her-Face as they're heading out of Silent Hill, but then... The officer refuses to uncuff Rose, despite them being more trapped than the prostitutes in my basement, but they've got other things to worry about.
Shoot it!
It's got no arms, what's it going to do? Bump into them and hope they die from it?
Stop!
Okay, maybe it's a little bit more dangerous than those flamey Oompa Loompas. Rose runs to the school, but we're back with Sean Bean, who's got far more important things to show us.
She takes her daughter to a place like this. I'd say she's damn mad at her husband.
You like hauling skeletons out of your family closet?
No, not all the time, but we're driving on top of them right now. Coal fire's still burning underneath.
We know about the fires.
They tried to evacuate this place as quick as they could, but it was hellish. People were dying and disappearing. Hell, they couldn't even find half the bodies. That was the end of Silent Hill.
So what has that scene brought to the film? Absolute sod all, making it completely and utterly, what? Pointless! Has Rose found anything interesting?
Sharon. Where are you hiding?
As the plot thickens further by raising even more questions, Rose sees Sharon so chases after her. Actually, no, with all these running and chasing scenes, there really is only one thing to do. Cue the music! This time though, she ends up in the bathroom of the school where she hears someone crying, but she doesn't find the person she expects. She's not gonna reach in and... It's bound to come to life. Okay, you got it, quick, go! Why are they running away? Credit where credit's due, the change from the normal world into the nightmare world is really cool, but she's locked in a bathroom, she'll be fine. Now's really not the time for I told you so. Now I know what you're thinking. What's Sean Bean up to? He's with the officer looking around the school for Rose and Sharon, but they're not in the nightmare world. Essentially, it's pointless. That really is it, she just runs away. But then guess who we cut to? Sean Bean and Rose are in the same place, but because Rose is in the nightmare world and Sean isn't, they can't see each other, but Sean somehow seems to know that Rose is around, but ends up moving on anyway. Rose gets found by Officer What's-Her-Face, and when loads of those roach things turn up, they lock themselves in a small room so the roaches can't get in. They're locked in that room, what's it going to do? Break the door down? Luckily, the nightmare ends just in time, and what Rose took out of that guy's mouth is the key to a hotel room, so they decide to go and investigate. But before we get to see what's in there, let's see what Sean Bean's up to.
What really happened up here?
Just let it rest in peace.
Oh yeah, that's not going to make him any more suspicious, is it? I'll give up with that. We then join up with Rose and Officer What's-Her-Face as they arrive at the Grand Hotel. No, seriously, that's what it's called. And there they come across a woman called Anna throwing stuff at the woman that Rose met earlier. Anna is part of a group of people that seek refuge at the church, and Dahlia, the other woman, was part of that group, but she got kicked out, and now even the creatures in the nightmare world aren't interested in her. As they look around the hotel, they make a discovery.
Rose, check this out.
What number did you take this from?
111.
We gotta go to room 111.
But why see what's in that room when we can check in on our old friend Sean Bean, who's broken into the police records office and is leafing through some of the files that were conveniently left in one of the offices.